One of them was that Nintendo's deciding to split digital and physical gaming prices. They come to the realization that packaging and marketing and shelf space on stores, stuff like that,
I
requires a
didn't
dirt.
get my box, darn it. I don't want to pay for it.
Exactly. They realize, maybe customers have finally gotten to them, that these prices shouldn't be the same. When you get a digital code, it doesn't cost you very much to produce that. So maybe you shouldn't charge the same amount as you would for something that sits on a shelf that you have to rent. I think let's see, the first example that they're going to start doing this pricing is for Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, which will cost $59.99 for the digital version and $69.99 for the physical copy. So it's $10 difference, but again, we're talking about still expensive copies of games. I remember when, uh, what was it, the SNES, like the top price for a game at that point was $50. And if you got like an deluxe edition, you're looking at 60. So, we've seen inflation move up. We're looking at $70 games. And again, Nintendo warned that you would get that. But at least now, not the digital and the physical are both 70. The other thing they came up with as far as the headline was that they're going to be cutting production for the Nintendo Switch by 30%. That's a big, big headline. It's also kind of a bellwether for what we could expect for gaming in the next year or two. They're seeing a softening demand, and this was during the holiday season, which is never a good sign. That's when most people do their buying. And again, this is for the Switch that started off really, really hot. They were on pace to do as well, if not way better, than the original Switch. But again, with the softening demand, they've realized that they're going to need to cut that again production by 30%. And again, that's mostly here in the U.S. And worldwide, they're still selling pretty well. But again, those are in relative numbers. The biggest market that they have isn't here in the U.S. Production in Japan will probably stay the same, but again, they do it at a much smaller volume. And the console still sits at around $449, with the potential of it raising, soon into the future, maybe going into the next shopping season. What are your thoughts on these two headlines from Nintendo? Are they also kind of preparing for a weird gaming future?
I'm seeing companies start to prepare for what looks to be right now the inevitable. You know, as things, it's supply and demand versus what it costs. As things get more expensive, people have to choose what they want to do. So if Nintendo is seeing a less demand for their console, well, I should say handheld, less demand for their handheld, then that should tell you something. That should tell you, of course, that means less people are buying it. That means they're putting their money somewhere else. Nintendo got out in front of this. They see it, they've reacted. They maybe they didn't wait for things to get too deep because we're in, let's call it end of March, 1st of April. That's where we're sitting. So we're Q1, third month of the year, Q1. Okay, so they're looking, they're sitting down at the meetings and they're looking at, what they did the end of last year. And I'm, well, wait a minute. This didn't turn out well. Well, instead of waiting another quarter to have another quarter to compare it to, like, let's react now. And I think that's going to set a precedence for everybody else because something we talked about off mic, the PlayStation consoles have gone up $100. We're not seeing a cut down of manufacturing, at least it's being announced, but we're seeing a price increase. So Nintendo's being smart. If things are going to get more expensive, the idea that the same amount of people are going to want it, probably not true. So let's go ahead and cut production now. Maybe they're looking at the RAM cost. Maybe, they know how much RAM they have in stockpile or in surplus, and they know when that runs out, we might have to bump that price. But we don't have people buying this. So let's maybe cut our manufacturing back to what we need. Maybe even create a little supply and demand because in the end, you sell a little bit more. When products are when there's 3 Nintendo Switches on the shelf versus where there was 15, you're standing there, well, I'll get it next week. I'll get it next payday. No, what do you tend to do? You tend to make that purchase then. That's how we react as consumers. So that may be part of what's going on there as well. That they may be able to say, well, we can cut it back and maybe there's, less on your shelf at Walmart or your local Best Buy, or maybe, Amazon or wherever you buy it from actually shows out of stock once in a while. Make you want it. So maybe, I think it's a good thing they're doing it given our climate. I think it's a bad thing that they have to do it because of the climate we're in.